Scholars, welcome to the counselor's office. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor. Sorry, this intro is going to be very quick because there is a thunderstorm. Not only that, I'm battling sickness. I'm literally getting my butt kicked. But we're battling a thunderstorm on its way, possible tornadoes, and I'm probably going to lose power. So let's do a video because I slept for 5 hours because I felt like crap. So we're going to give you a video before I lose power. Yay! Oh, man, the things I do for YouTube. I've been wanting to react to this because there's been a lot of talk about not just, you know, the forced hate, but also the toxic marathon fans that are making their own players quit. And I think that's an interesting topic because nothing, like we saw this with Destiny. A lot of toxic, even content creators were toxic that were pushing away players who had like fair complaints. And nothing will kill your game more than elitism and also the you know, gate holding, making sure people can't, you know, participate, and also just trying to block fair criticism, which we saw in Destiny from Bungie, right? A lot of content creators, a lot of, you know, Bungie fanboys were desperate to block and to label any kind of form of fair criticism as hate, and it causes this toxic community. And let's watch this video by Quasar77. Toxic marathon fans are making players quit. Let's jump into it before I lose power.
It's finally official. A marathon just hit under 30k concurrent players.
Damn.
Which is a 66+% drop
Damn.
from its all-time peak. And it's gonna get worse, trust me. It is gonna get worse. The situation in Marathon is currently so absolutely unbelievably bad.
I just want to point out, I think it's funny that he chose the time for maintenance. It is kind of funny. It really be funny that people still don't realize that maintenance is around this time. Like, if I know because I've dealt with Bungie and Destiny games for like years. It's still really funny. People don't realize that this is what happens. They shut their servers off to do maintenance. It's still really funny. It also makes me, where does the like 1,000 something people come from? Like, if they're doing maintenance, why the fuck are these people playing? I never, you know, things that I never asked myself. Why is it that, like, that's not Bungie devs playing? So
that even the die-hard marathon defenders are currently contemplating how can they save the game.
True.
And you know what's the funniest part about this? We're gonna watch this clip a little bit later.
I want to watch the full thing of Ginger Prime, so I'm going to intentionally skip this. Whenever he starts showing this clip, I'm going to skip it, based also for the fact that people don't generally like you reacting to someone reacting to something else. And I agree. So I'm going to skip it, and I'm going to watch that video later.
Because they understand that they are the reason Marathon is dying. They understand that they themselves are the reason that Marathon has no future, and it is glorious. They understand this, but they don't blame themselves, needless to say. It's going to be hilarious.
I mean, granted, they do blame. Guys, if you talking hate, you guys are always talking bad about the game. And meanwhile, you guys are talking about everything but the game, making fun of people who are giving fair criticism and pushing people away who have, you know, ideas to improve. And you're like, not in my game, not in my game. This is my perfect game, and you will not touch it. That's right. I don't care if you have 5 players. Me and my best friends are gonna play. That's the mindset that some of these players have.
Hilarious, trust me, boys. But as you can see, the numbers don't lie. Marathon's Monday peak was a whopping 28.3 thousand players. Under 30k. Pat yourselves on the back, boys. I know you love it. I love it. Numbers and graphs and stuff. Fun. Very fun, obviously. And, well,
I don't know if I'd go that far, but okay.
that was predictable considering we knew how bad it's looking on Saturday and Sunday. And now, if you wanna entertain yourself a little bit more, first of all, it is the maintenance, so the servers are offline. God forbid a multi-billion-dollar company will be able to do server maintenance without, you know, shutting down the game. I know.
Bungie could never. Actually, how many games? Let's be fair. Name games that does like severe, like actual hardcore maintenance and doesn't shut down the server. I can only think of Warframe.
Crazy stuff, obviously. Oh, but in any case, if you want to see the future of Marathon, I mean, it's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be good because remember, Tuesdays are always smaller than Mondays. Oh yes, so Marathon will drop even more now. Now, how much? It's probably not gonna be a much, but it's over. It's over. We're under 30K.
I never understood why Tuesday is reset. It doesn't make any sense for Marathon. Why? Like, I never understood why it was a thing for Destiny either. Why Tuesday? Why not like a Friday or start the work day? It's really weird. I don't know. Tell them in the comments down below. Why did they start Tuesdays? And some other games follow that same trend, but some also do Wednesday. They'll do midweek. Some will do Thursday or Friday. But I think Tuesday, Wednesday is kind of like the middle ground for most games. I wonder why.
Currently, for our Ameri friends, this is 10 a.m. And Marathon has only 8.7.
Oh yeah, that's the tornado alarms going on in the background.
On Monday,
neat.
It had at the same time 10.5k players, which is an absolutely abysmal drop. So Tuesday is obviously going to be pretty bad. But in any case, we have this. This is good.
I'm gonna skip it. I want to hear your thoughts. I don't. If I would watch this if I wanted to watch this.
If you're playing this in off-peak.
You know what's the most worrying thing about this graph here? It's the fact that this bump right here does not exist almost any longer. This means, like, look at this. This bump previously was 29.3k. Now it's 22.8. Insane. Now this, it's still a drop. It's still a noticeable almost 10% drop. But I mean, it's smaller, but this graph right here, holy moly, this is serious. This is almost.
Whereas the topic should be about the Marathon fans, and there's a lot you could talk about when it comes to toxic. And so far, you've only related to the information based on someone else's podcast, and you're not really giving your own detailed. You're just talking about the charts. That's fine and dandy. And don't get me, I love looking at data, but you have to make a correlation if you're going to state that it's toxic fans are making players quit. And outside of just using this very specific clip, there's other examples that I can think of and I've seen. A perfect example is that people are diehard against a PvE only mode because they believe it will split the community, in which case I think that's just delusional, because if people who love PvP will continue to PvP, whereas people who only would ever do PvE were never going to play Marathon in the first place. So you're at least getting people to participate and enjoy a game that you enjoy. It's really gatekeeping that's unnecessary. But are we going to sit here and look at the charts the entire time?
25% drop right there. This means that a whole region literally is giving up on Marathon. This means that a whole region is literally
that's fair.
Saying no.
I mean, that's fair. It's an entire section of the world that's pretty much not part of the equation. And that doesn't look good, especially when you're looking at Asia. Asia is a massive gaming industry. It has massive amounts of players, and Marathon picks up hardly any of them, which is not good.
No, Marathon's not good. And when this collapses, it will affect a lot of other people also. And needless to say, that's not what you want to see. There's so much going wrong with Marathon.
Okay, so
turned off. God help.
I'm a little disappointed. I'm a little disappointed. I was hoping maybe he gives his opinion while watching it, but I'm not gonna react to someone reacting to someone reacting. I will just literally give my own take watching the video myself. It's going to get an update soon. It's like a stage 4 pancreatic cancer patient getting a new set of dentures soon. You just don't like it because you're not good. Didn't you say this about Crimson Desert? Damn, if that isn't the truth. It's like they're trying not to attract new players. It'll be interesting what happens when the next season for Marathon starts. live service games are a scam, and it's good when they crash and burn. I don't know. Like they're like Helldivers is not a scam. There's a lot of good instances where games are doing, like, live service games are doing right. Like I do think we're coming to a time where live service games are coming down. I don't think they're going to be nearly as popular. I think we're going to circle back around to single player games, which is great. I think that's fantastic. But I generally do not agree that all live service games are scams. That's just not true. That's inherently wrong. It's very generalizing, and it throws everything in a bucket that doesn't deserve to be in a bucket. Like, I mean, there are some real scams. I wouldn't even say Marathon is a scam, because, I mean, you could argue that it's not worth $40. That's a value proposition you as the consumer can determine. I didn't buy it, so I don't have to sit there and try to calculate whether I thought my money's worth it. I didn't spend any money on it, so I'm good. But if you spent money on Marathon, you can make that evaluation whether you felt like you got your money's worth or not. But in the topic, in the sense of the topic, and I feel like I'm going to talk about it again because I'm a little disappointed that I don't know, like, we spent most of our time looking at charts, and then reacting to this, which is fine. It's fine, but I will agree that there is a side that is so hyper focused on charts. Like, I use charts as a point of reference for data, and I think that's fine. But if your entire argument is look at the charts, but there's not a conversation to have there. And I will agree that is annoying. I mean, what people were trying to say that about Crimson Desert with the reviews. Look at the reviews. And well, the reviews have skyrocketed, except for, game journalists, which no one trusts game journalists anymore. Especially like IGN and Game Informer and all these other trash websites, Kotaku. I mean, you see them shoving Marathon down everyone's throat constantly. Like, there's other games, talk about them, bitch. Like, shut the fuck up about Marathon already. Jesus Christ. It went from, okay, they're giving treatment, to now it's very clearly you're giving special treatment because all you keep talking about is how great fucking Marathon is. Stop sucking Bungie's dick. I know they're paying you, but damn, shut the fuck up. Just play the game if you love it so much. Like, if you love it so much, it's like you're trying to get people to agree with you and validate your decision to write an article about it. Like, shut the fuck up. And that's another thing, is that you talk about toxic Marathon fans. Nothing's more toxic than someone that hate watches. Like, I get people are going to make videos, and I mostly make fun of the Bungie fanboys. That's what I do. I make fun of them. But people like this guy, I guarantee, triggers a shit ton of people. Because guess what he's doing? He's looking at charts. He's talking about the charts constantly, and I guarantee they're triggered. If you're one of those people that do not like looking at charts, you shouldn't be watching people like this that would trigger you. But overall, like, I do feel like I'm not going to pat myself on the back and say that I do things better when it comes to looking at data, but I do feel like there's conversations to be had based on the decline of the current play race. I do think it's due to toxic Marathon fans. I'm a little disappointed because I was hoping maybe he'd bring some new fresh points to the conversation, but at this point, I'm going to watch this video instead. The link will be down below. You got to start somewhere. I do reacts too, but I feel like I try to give a good, my opinion. Does he even talk about it, or does he just watch? I think he does talk.
And now at this point, surprise, surprise, there has never been a single game that has survived the test of time that's literally geared for the ultra super competitive people. No game has ever thrived that does this.
Okay, thrived. I think that's... Okay, I'm glad I clicked this randomly. We can continue this video because that's a conversation piece. Thrived. Tarkov. I think it depends on battle states. It depends on the publisher. What is the indication of thriving? Because for a niche game that is pretty hardcore, has a pretty dedicated community, and obviously they're not shut down. They've been going for years on early access, like their beta. I would say it's pretty fair to say that they're not surviving, and Nikita, the main guy who runs Battlestate, is also making another company, making another game. which I don't know if it's a extraction shooter or not. People are assuming it is, but we still don't know. It's a space shooter, which looks cool. I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see. But to say that maybe for a small company or publisher like Battlestate that is thriving, maybe they are thriving enough. We don't know. We don't know. Is it fair to say, look at the data and then compare it to Bungie, a legendary studio that was bought for $3.6 billion, spent over $250 million to make Marathon, and probably a little bit more because they had to reboot this thing multiple times. They had to pay people, they had to pay anti-real for the art theft. Then they had to pay for advertisement and all that jazz. There's a lot of money went into this. I would say a lot more money than what was put into Tarkov. So is Marathon thriving? Probably not. Is it surviving? It's floating. It's definitely floating. I don't think it's thriving. I think Tarkov is more thriving because it has probably the amount of money spent into it is significantly less than what was spent on Marathon, and just the goal and expectations probably much lower, especially since Battlestate isn't a legendary, studio that made Halo. That's something that's gonna kind of be the ball and shackle. And when you look at shareholders, they're going to be looking at that kind of information. I like how I was hoping to talk about Toxic Marathon fans, and we just talked about everything but that. That's neat. That's neat.
And now a lot of these people who make content for Marathon and talk positively about it are slowly understanding that, wait a minute,
can you give examples?
A vitriolic player base that literally attacks anyone, even their own, if you dare say that Marathon is not God's gift upon humanity, is not good for the health of the game, you're telling me? Wow. Wow. Who would have ever anticipated this?
Okay. Makes me appreciate myself a little bit, pat myself on the back. No shade, anyone. Reacting is reacting. Everyone has different flavors, different styles, and this guy has 30K and I have 600K. So, I can be a critic of how he presents, reacts. It's whatever. But generally, I just want to end the video saying, I agree that it's vitriolic. I would like to say that it's better to, if you're going to, I don't like just saying, trust me, bro. That's why I usually have clips or videos or stuff to show as an example of, when I make a statement, especially when I mention content creators being vitriolic, I usually have that shit onto the side, ready to show as proof. Just as a rule of thumb, when as someone who's dealt with Bungie ball fondlers, they will demand sources like I do, and I have some respect for that, though. To be honest, Bungie ball fondlers, I have some respect for them for the fact that they demand sources and some actual evidence, because even though they'll never bring any themselves, I still respect the desire to keep people honest. Though themselves will never be honest. Anyways, interesting video, a little short, not my most exciting one. Like I said, I just wanted to do this. The tornado alarm has been going off in the background, so I'm gonna end here. Sorry, it's not the greatest vid. Kind of rushed through. Didn't even have a chance to really kind of check out the video too much. If I knew it was just gonna be this, I would just watch the clip, which is probably gonna be the next thing I do. But I will see you guys next one. Bye bye. Wish me luck. Hope I don't lose